Right, we're on. My name is Steve Johnson. I am the PGA professional here at Peebles Golf Club in Scotland. Many of you know me. If you don't know me and this is the first time on the channel, please hit subscribe. I bring content to this channel twice a week for you guys to get better at golf. Today is a introduction to the game of golf for beginners. Now obviously a lot of my subscribers are established golfers, but there's something you might learn from this as well. However, if you're new to the game today, the object is to make sure we have a correct grip on the golf club, how we hold the club, correct stance to make sure we're standing correctly towards the golf ball to give us the best chance to get the ball in the air, and strike, getting the ball in the air, grip, posture and getting the ball airborne. That's today's topics. Doesn't have to be athletic, it doesn't have to look perfect, it just has to be comfortable and achievable for you, the golfer, to make sure you can get a consistent strike on that golf ball. So as mentioned in the intro to this video, the idea is to get the ball in the air. We're going to try and make this as simple as possible for all you beginner golfers out there and to make it achievable. Now, one thing that has to be taken into consideration is there's no right or wrong in golf. There's no right way to do it, there's no wrong way to do it, but there's fundamentals to adhere to. I mean, at the end of the day, we're here to play a game. It's supposed to be fun. We're supposed to enjoy ourselves. It's not really that important. Don't take it that seriously. Also accepting the fact that golf is a hard game. Accept that right from the start. Every golfer's gone through this journey. Every golfer that's a very good handicap golfer or professional golfer has started where you are just now. Everyone started at some level of golf, and as a golf coach, it's our jobs to make it better, and we'll establish that player. But we've all been there. Everyone's got empathy. When you're on the golf course and you see a player who's of much better ability and he sees you struggling, he's been there. He knows exactly what you're feeling. So the grip on the golf club. I'm going to assume this is right-handed golfers. I'm a right-handed golfer. If you're left-handed, the hands go in the opposite position. There's 3 grips we can have. If I put my left hand on the bottom of the grip with my thumb straight up and down the grip, and I take my index finger, take my right hand, interlock index finger and pinky together, wrap hand over so both thumbs are down the middle of the grip. That is an interlock grip. Second option, it's called an overlap grip. Again, left hand on, thumb down the middle. Take my right hand, I overlap my pinky between index finger and middle finger, in between the two, and then 1, 2, 3, these 3 fingers, same as the interlock grip, wrap around the club, thumb down the middle of the grip. That's an overlap grip. So we've got interlock, make sure these 3 fingers are on the grip. We've got overlap. And finally, the third choice is a 10-finger grip. Basically, these 4 fingers of the right hand go on the grip, slide down so they touch the left hand, thumb on top. So there you can see it's 10-finger grip. A split between the grip, between the hands would be a baseball grip. Both hands work independently there. Make sure both hands are touching if you adopt this grip, as they work independently, or they work as a unit, sorry, in one. Once you have your chosen grip, I said the thumbs go down the middle of the grip. Actually, your left thumb goes a little bit to the right as you look down, and your right thumb goes a little bit to the left as you look down. That's pretty good. We've created a V shape here, which goes up towards your right shoulder, chin. Let's keep it as simple as possible. Left hand on, left thumb a little bit to the right. Right hand on, whether it's interlock, overlap or 10-finger. Right thumb goes a little bit to the left as you look down. As I mentioned there's no real right or wrong. You know, there's 3 grips you can choose from. Interlock, overlap, 10-finger. They're all correct, and it's up to you as the golfer, you as the player, just to find out which one's more comfortable for you. Take your grip, have a bit feel, experiment. Does this one feel good? That one feels good to me. I overlap, that's the grip for me. To me, that feels most comfortable. So that's what I'll use. As I mentioned before, it's supposed to be fun. So if we choose something that's uncomfortable, that's no fun. So now we know how to hold the golf club. We've got a grip on the club, but the only point of contact with the golf club is our hands. So if we're comfortable there, we're good to go. Now I need to know how to stand in relation to the golf ball. Now I'm going to hit the golf ball up in that direction. So I want the grooves of my golf club to be behind the golf ball, hitting up in that direction. Now that would make sense. So I stand side on here. Now I need to get into a good postural position. It doesn't have to be athletic, it doesn't have to look perfect, it just has to be comfortable and achievable for you, the golfer, to make sure you can get a consistent strike on that golf ball. As a golf coach, I'm well aware that everyone's got different flexibility, different weight, different shape, different height, different diets. So we all stand to it slightly differently, but if we can all get to a similar position, then it's much more achievable for the coach and the player to make good contact and strike. Much easier for the coach to analyse what the player's doing. So we've got our grip. Left hand's on, right side for the thumb. I overlap, and I put my thumb across, and it's down the left hand side of the grip as I look. I then put my club straight in front of me. My legs are locked, perfectly straight. Golf ball's on the floor, we're good to go. I'm going to tilt from the hips, so I tilt forward. This is called tilt, pop and drop. So I tilt forward. I then, as I tilt forward, I make sure my hips go back over my heels. So I tilt, so my hips have gone back. I then pop my knees, pop, and then drop the club. So I'm now in a good position, ready to hit golf balls. Tilt, pop and drop. The most important thing, therefore, when you do the tilt is make sure that your hips go back over your heels. That's very important. If we're too far on our toes, which does look athletic because we're ready to react, things have to be compensated for during the swing. So try and feel as though the weight's a little bit more on your heels, not too far on your heels, but a little bit more favouring your heels than it is your toes. So I've got my grip. I've got my interlock grip. So I've put my hand on, left hand on, with my thumb to the right hand side of the shaft of the grip. I've put my right hand on with my overlap grip. Overlap these three fingers, 1, 2, 3, wrapped round. And then as I put this thumb on, you can see it goes on the opposite side of the shaft. So my right thumb goes on the left side of the shaft, and my left thumb is on the right side of the shaft. So I'm all set grip-wise. I take my stance, golf ball, go in that direction, take my stance, tilt, pop and drop. So I tilt, but I let my hips go back. I pop my knees, just so they're over the top of my toes. Balls on my feet. And then from there I drop the club. I'm good to go. Now the golf ball's away over there, but I don't want to come out of this position. I don't want to stand up and go over there because then I've taken all that good work away. So I have to tilt, hips over heels, pop the knees, knees over balls of feet, drop the club. Then from there I have to shimmy, maintain that position, shimmy to the golf ball, and I'm good to go. So then from there I can take golf shots, I can take swings at the ball and see how we get on. Now the shimmy is important. You'll get better and better at this as you develop as a golfer. Eventually you'll be able to just stand on and feel where you want to be. But just now, that'll get you the correct position away from the ball or distance from the ball. Got my grip. Tilt, hips go back, pop the knees over the balls of the heels, drop. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy towards the golf ball, and then from there we can have a little swipe, see what happens. We're all okay so far? It's exciting learning something new, isn't it? So, now we have to make sure we get good contact on the golf ball. We have to make sure we hit the same part of the ground every time. So the club makes an arc, club comes down an arc and strikes the ground, or strikes the golf ball. We have to make this low point at the same point every time. It's pointless coming down here and hitting the ground and then back up, or down here. We have to make sure we can get the same low point every time. So that same low point is obviously underneath the golf ball. At beginner level, it's right underneath the golf ball. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on something there without hitting golf ball. I'm going to take some chalk. I'm going to draw some chalk mark on my mat. I'm also going to draw one here. Here. We'll get to that one in just a second. So this chalk mark here, I want to address my golf club on top of it. So I take my grip, left hand on, thumb down the right, overlap, right hand on, thumb to the left, and then tilt, hips over the back of my balls of my heels, and I tilt, so my hips go back over my heels, pop my knees over the balls of my feet, drop club. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy to the chalk mark. So now my club is just behind the chalk mark. The chalk mark is if it's the golf ball. And from there, I want to make sure I can strike. I'm not bothered too much about what happens with my hands and arms. I'm just going back and making sure I can strike the chalk every time. Can you see the dust coming up? Strike the chalk every time. It's just a short swing to make sure I can control where the club is going to make contact with the golf ball or the ground. Now if I come face on, I'll use this piece of chalk. Same thing, grip, thumb, right hand, right thumb, left hand side, tilt, hips over heels, pop the knees over the balls of the feet, drop the club, shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. I happen to be in a good place there. Over the top of the chalk, and then from there I'm not coming away back up here, I'm just going back and through until I can strike the chalk. I'm striking chalk there, good. I can then increase length of swing to make sure I can strike chalk, but just now it's just about making contact with that chalk. Now how do we do that? There's one thing we can do to make sure we strike that every time, and it's a little thing we have to do that impact with that chalk. So as we strike this chalk, I've moved my chalk mark for you. As we strike this chalk, as I strike the chalk, there's one thing you'll notice, no matter what happens when I take the club back, whether my left arm bends or my wrists go all funky, as I come down to strike the chalk, my left arm and back of left wrist and club head are all in one line. So they're always in one line to make sure I get to that same point every time. There, in one straight line. That's key. That's all you need to focus on at beginner level, is to make sure you've got your grip correct. Choice of 3, they're all correct. Tilt, pop and drop, shimmy into the ball or the chalk, and just try and get left arm straight as you're hitting the golf ball. There, there, there. One thing I should add here is that once you're achieving that strike on the chalk, if you can consistently hit that every time, then lengthen your swing. Take the club a little bit further back and further through, but make sure you keep striking that point. That is your point of reference. Make sure you get the left arm straight to make sure you make good contact. Then increase the swing. If you continue to make good contact, increase it further. Keep going. But just now, keep it achievable, because we do want the game to be fun. Make sure you can strike that point every time before you start increasing the length of your golf swing. So now we're actually going to hit a golf ball. We've done all the homework. We've got my grip. I know what I'm doing. I know how to tilt, pop and drop. Tilt, hips over heels, pop the knees over the balls of the feet, drop the club, shimmy, shimmy, shimmy into place. As long as I can come down with left arm straight, I'll be pretty good to get the golf ball away. You'll note when I'm doing this that the tilt and the pop are maintained. So tilt, pop, drop, shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. The tilt and the pop are maintained. I don't take the club back and come out of the tilt. I don't come out of the pop. I don't come out of both, because I'm lifting up and it's hard to hit the golf ball. So I have to maintain my levels. So tilt and pop are so important. Tilt, pop the knees, drop the club. Maintain that to a straight left arm at impact. I'm good to go. I'm just going to move this camera angle to face on so you can see that I maintain the tilt and the pop during impact. You'll probably see my left arm straight as well. So the main thing for me to think about now is not hitting the camera. So tilt, pop and drop, maintain the tilt and the pop. My grip's good. My tilt's good. My pop's good. And I've dropped it. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. The angle there, so those lines that you can see I've drawn on are the tilt in blue and the pop in yellow. And I want to maintain the tilt and the pop until after I've hit the golf ball. There we go. And again. Tilt, pop, drop, shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. Maintaining those angles, left arm straight at impact. That was a better one. I maintained the tilt better. Tilt. I maintained that a lot better. So there we go. Golf is fun, told you. So remember, quick recap, there's 3 grips. Interlock, overlap, 10 finger. Tilt, pop and drop ensures you're in the correct postural position. Maintain the tilt and the pop as you're hitting the golf ball, and also use the chalk. Use a little bit of grass, use a stone, use a mark on concrete, anything you can to make sure you're striking that ball at the same spot. What's going to make that achievable is getting the left arm and the club in a straight line, like so, as you hit the golf ball. As I mentioned before, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. It is free of charge. Also hit the little bell notification. That gives you instant notifications of all the videos I upload once I upload them immediately. And also the thumbs up button. Click the thumbs up button today if you think beginner golf is a good thing to cover on my channel. I think because of the COVID situation, many more people are taking up golf. It's freedom, it's fresh air, it's a safe place to be on the golf course. If you'd like me to bring more content for beginners, good refresher as well for people who have not, who may perhaps be struggling with their golf, but just let me know. If you thumbs up it today, that will give me an indication as to whether this sort of content is worthwhile. Of course it's worthwhile. Any golfer who's starting a game of golf, that is worthwhile to me. Well done, thank you. See you in the next video.